Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. In this third class on the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Geetā, Jnana Vijnana Yoga, we will proceed with those introductory shlokas in terms of how Sri Krishna says to Arjuna what he is going to say. As the rule goes, tell them what you are going to tell, then in detail tell them, then at the end tell them what you had told them. That is the 3-point formula I heard long back about effective lectures or presentations. In many of the chapters, at least, we can see this, Sri Krishna doing it. He promises here that he will actually give to Arjuna, and through Arjuna to all of us, Jnanam Vijnana Sahitam, the highest wisdom, along with such powerful tips, such helpful tips, whereby we can internalize that vision. So we saw the first 2 verses where Sri Krishna said, first of all, after praising the jnana, he said, this is the knowledge that is complete, samagram. He further praised it in the second verse, yad natva neha bhuyonyat nathavyam avashishyate. How we wish more and more people know, or more and more people knew some basic amount of Sanskrit, because these are very inspiring, powerful, uplifting phrases or sentences, phrases, knowing which you don't have to know anything more at all. There is such sense of well-being. Let me tell you, the gist of all this Vedanta is, it's only in self-knowledge where you come upon true abandon. Abandon in the sense of, you say, I'm fine. You let go. Abandoning means let go of your worries, anxieties. No wealth, no popularity, no trophy, no political victories, no settling score with people, no winning wars. Now more and more wars seem to be taking place in the world. It is gruesome. It is so frightening. And it will only mess up life more. So individually or collectively, you and I tend to think, if I win here, if I succeed there, my life will be so good. Temporary relief we may get, but true relief is by knowing who we are. This little self with which we are identified is not our true self. We are embracing, we are holding tightly the false I, and without leaving the false I, we want to be at peace. Vedanta laughs at it. Vedanta says the only way you may find peace is let go of your false I. Therefore, Maharshi Ramana tirelessly said to visitors, find out who you are. We have in fact undervalued the query, who am I? I sometimes, sincerely confessing before you, regret that I have been inspired by Who Am I from somewhere in 1984, ever since I picked up Arthur Osborne's book on teachings of Ramana Maharshi in his own words in the library of Sandipani Sadhanalaya, Mumbai. 1984, and next year it will be 40 years since my connection with Who Am I inquiry began. But the confession is, I am also yet to really get very steady in this self-inquiry. I deeply appreciate and share my joy in self-inquiry with audiences, but the world being what it is, you and I get distracted. We get involved in so many other matters, scriptural or worldly matters, and the little I lost, I'm in danger, I'm in trouble now, oh my, and so on. And we pursue lesser priorities. The highest priority actually is finding out our own true nature. Therefore, Adi Shankaracharya is uncompromising when he says Bhagavad Gita is actually a Vedanta work. Because such a statement like this in the second shloka, Yad Natva Neha Bhuyonyad Natavyam Avashishyate, cannot apply to any other knowledge. It is a rising above the little I. I have problems and I try to solve problems. Vedanta says, do a little, we don't mind, but more important is try to dissolve the I that has problems. Let me not go very long on this. Maharshi Ramana often said with wit and wisdom, more than clearing the doubt, clear the doubter. Clear the doubter. You and I take the I to be, known, for granted. But Maharshi Ramana smiles. You have a doubt and you are worried about the implications of that doubt, but doubt the doubter. Who are you? It's like in a dream, somebody is seeing a tiger and is worried. How will I free myself? How will I save myself from the tiger? I am now in danger. So in the dream, one imagines one is that person going through a forest and a tiger is approaching one and one is in danger. What Maharshi Ramana says by asking us doubt the doubter is question that entity which seems to be in danger of being eaten up by a tiger. Are you actually facing a tiger? Is the tiger real? And more importantly, are you the likely victim of a tiger? Is that real? When you inquire, all it means is you wake up. This looks like a nice, wonderful imagination. Many of us think that it is not within my reach. This self-inquiry is not my cup of tea. Again, masters like Lord Sri Krishna himself and saints like Nisargadatta and so on, they smile and say, actually, to abide by the pure self is the easiest. To inquire who am I is the easiest, but your habits are the problem. Therefore, to move further, let me say, you and I need to make time in our daily life to do this, which is actually easy. Make time, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes over there. This applies to all the wonderful good things of life. Yoga, make time for it. Walk, make time for it. Even short period. And 10 times, 100 times more worthy, more valuable, more rewarding is self-inquiry. Make time for self-inquiry. And it's all a matter of a little bit of restructuring our priorities. Change the priorities. Begin with what is truly important. Suppose you are on a flight, as I was last evening, from Bombay to Bangalore. I arrived last evening. Now, even in that 1 hour, 20 minutes flight, I was thinking, I can do several things. You feel like picking up the magazine, the Air India magazine, and see what is the content. Or you have a mobile smartphone, you can do many things with that. But you know what? In that 1 hour, 20 minutes, suppose a traveler, a passenger, spends the first 20 minutes. First 20 minutes. Remaining 1 hour, do anything under the sun. But can you put the first 20 minutes of a 80 minutes flight to self-inquiry? Or sometimes if you are in the mood of bhakti, first 20 minutes, just repeat Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Don't look at other passengers, the air hostess and some other staff and all that. What is special in that? You have seen enough of it. Close your eyes. Next time you board a flight, first 20 minutes, conduct Who am I inquiry. And then read a magazine, enjoy the coffee they may serve, do anything under the sun. In all likelihood, when you enjoy the 20 minutes of japa or Who am I inquiry, you may not want to do anything else. Whole flight you put in the bliss of spiritual contemplation. So the sadhana itself beautiful. How about Siddhi? We perhaps took a quick look at the Shankara Bhāshya also. Bhagavan Shankaracharya, we call him Bhagavan Bhāshyakara. On the second verse said that Jnanam Madvishayam Jnanam. Remember I said the chapter 7 to 12 are more about God and His glory. So if knowledge is being talked about, it is knowledge of God. Therefore, Adi Shankara, with a wonderful sense of context, says, Jnanam is Madvishayam Jnanam. Sri Krishna is telling us about himself, the wisdom about him. Who is Sri Krishna? Who is Mahavishnu? Savijnanam Swa Anubhava Yuktam. I would only call this such wonderful tips which can take you to realization. The fact that it doesn't happen to most people is various self-created impediments, self-created obstacles, self-created distractions. It's like the doctor gives you the best medicine, it will work. But you come home and sit watching television and go to sleep. Next morning you see that, oh my, I did not take the tablets at all last night. So it's like that. Scriptures give you, they serve you on a platter. Wonderful exercises for spiritual contemplation. Swa Anubhava Yuktam Vakshyami Katayishyami Asheshataha. As you know, the style of the Bhashya is insert words of the shloka and give the meaning. One more word from the shloka, give the meaning. Yet another word from the shloka, give the meaning. Teachers like me generally do an exercise before starting the class. We take the Shankara Bhāshya, in that where the words are from the shloka or in Upanishads from the mantra, we underline those words. Then we clearly know this is the word from the original text, The other words are explanations by Bhagavan Bhāshyakara. Kartsnena. Kritsna means in entirety, in full. Kritsna, not Krishna. Kritsna. The abstract noun of Kritsna is Kartsnya. Kartsnyam. Tadnanam vivakshitam stauti shrotuhu abhimukhi karanaya. To make listeners turn more towards this wisdom, Sri Krishna indulges in a little praise of this wisdom. What is that stauti? Stauti means stutim karoti, praises. He says, yadnatva, yadnanam natva prapya naiha bhuyaha punaha anyad natavyam. There is nothing else to be known. And Sri Shankara says, leave alone knowing, not only nothing else to know, nothing else to take, nothing else to acquire, nothing else to eat, nothing else to drink. In other words, you are done, complete. Therefore, we sometimes call this the wisdom of completeness. Vedanta is the wisdom of completeness, Purnatva. Whether personally or collectively, whether in your own personal life or in the world around, there may be some serious issue. Now, a lot of you might be very worried about what this Israel and Hamas conflict will lead to. Will it lead to a world war? Will many countries get into the fray? And how it will affect us living in this part of the world or that part of the world? What will happen? And so on. All of them will be in their place if you anchor yourself in true spirituality. Spirituality becomes more relevant in such crucial times, such times of global crisis. Therefore, Bhashyakara says, Anyat Purushartha Sadhanam na avashishyate. Whether it is Artha or Dharma or Kama or Moksha, the four Purusharthas, all of them are yours. You got everything if you got self-knowledge. Na avashishtam bhavati. Mat tattvajnaha. One who knows the truth of me, one who knows the truth of God, saha sarvajno bhavati ityarthaha. She or he becomes all-knowing, omniscient. Now, some saints, some enlightened ones actually display their sarvajnatva. For example, yesterday, somebody among you shared with me a little piece about Anandamayi Ma. She was sitting quietly as though not paying any attention to anybody. Somebody came and started offering flowers and doing many things to worship her. And then there was somebody watching it. So, Anandamayi Ma, the born saint of Bengal, was sitting as though not noticing at all what the devotee was doing. Now, the third person watching it felt a little awkward. The third person thought that this person who came with flowers and so on is doing so much to worship Anandamayi Ma. At least she should smile, at least she should express some appreciation, at least raise a hand and bless her or bless him. But no, Anandamayi Ma was sitting there, allowing the visitor, I think a lady, to do whatever she wanted, allowing her to put the flowers and so on, but not showing even a little of appreciation. And the other devotee was feeling a little embarrassed. Why are sometimes even saints so indifferent? You and I are insensitive, that is understandable. We are worldly people. But saints are supposed to be very compassionate. So the third party was expecting Anandamayi Ma to bless the devotee saying something, may God bless you, may your wishes be fulfilled or whatever. And I believe in an instant, Anandamayi Ma turns to the third party, the other devotee, and says, you know, this visitor is not doing all this out of true, sincere devotion to me. She has a problem to be solved. All she wants is her problem. Her son is unwell. She wants her son to be cured by my powers. That is all she is interested in. And therefore, I am not expressing any appreciation right away. That's sakama bhakti. The devotion actually wanting gratification of one's own personal desires is inferior. So the devotee watching from a distance was surprised. How Ma knew what is going on in the mind of the visitor. And more than that, how Ma, though looking in some other direction, was completely aware of what this third person was thinking. So, Sarvajna can sometimes be literal to anything under the sun. Ask an enlightened lady, why did so and so get Nobel Prize in economics this time? She may say, she got the Nobel Prize this time for such and such work of hers or his. So, anything under the sun. But once more, we will clarify that kind of knowing everything, that kind of knowledge of history or economics or geography or political science or those thousands of subjects in the world is not of much value in spirituality. Sarvajnaha is more in the sense of a state of consciousness, a state of being where you don't feel even a trace of incompleteness in any context. That incompleteness, you and I regret. You go to Tamil Nadu and then you regret, oh, I wish I knew some Tamil. I'm not following what people are talking. After a week, you go to Andhra Pradesh and then you wish, oh, I wish I had learned some Telugu. Everybody is talking Telugu. Is there an end to it? You know all the languages of India, let us say, wherever you travel in India, you know the local language. You think you will come upon completeness. You go to some European country, you go to some African country, again you will be lost. Again the same regret, same insufficiency will bother you. Therefore, Sarvajnatva is not literally knowing everything. Some saints have proved it. I have heard that Satya Sai Baba once welcomed some Germans into his inner chamber and spoke to them in German. This was said to me by somebody very close to Baba. He spoke to them in German. They were also flabbergasted how Baba, they call him Swami, how Swami knew German. He spoke in German for a little while. And another scholar who was doing PhD in Brahma Sutras, a devotee of Satya Sai Baba, was called in and Satya Sai asked him, how is your PhD work going on? And when he said, I am now working on this chapter, I am on this sutra, on this adhyaya, Swami Satya Sai Baba gave him certain guidance which actually shocked the PhD student. How did Swami know all these intricacies of a certain sutra, Brahma Sutra? And he came out really dazed. And rest of it, this happened some 40 years ago. Even today, that gentleman is in one of the Satya Sai ashrams, completely devoted to Satya Sai's work. He got his PhD, but he has been teaching at the Satya Sai institutions only. He didn't go anywhere else. So, Sarvajnatva. Satya Sai knew German. Satya Sai could talk on Brahma Sutras, though he was not a scholar otherwise, going by his biography. He did not spend years in Kanchi or Kashi studying Shankara Bhāshya and Brahma Sutras, but enlightened, having the highest wisdom of spirituality. Mattatvajnaha sarvajnaha bhavati. That omniscience is less important. What is important is to be absolutely free of the least amount of inadequacy, incompleteness, the sense of I am not okay, and the notion my health improves, I will be okay. My bank balance improves, I will be okay, etc. With less bank balance, with health problems, with maybe being unpopular in the town, being misunderstood, no matter what, with true self knowledge, we can actually smile at all of them. However, this is generally not attained by all. Sri Krishna himself says that the difficulty is preparedness, availability. Once more, the wisdom is not really very hard, literally, but it becomes hard, practically it becomes hard because we are not truly receptive. Shankara connects us to the third shloka, Ataha Vishishta Phalatvat Durlabham Jnanam. This Jnanam, this highest wisdom, having such very unique, extraordinary benefits to offer, all the same is hard to get. Sulabham means easy to get. Durlabham, labate, to get. Is it easy to get? Practically, it is found to be extremely difficult to get. Katham, why, how? The shloka goes. Very popular shloka. This shloka with not much of higher philosophy, all the same, is quoted by everyone for it points out a practical difficulty. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatataamapi siddhanam kaschinmam vetti sarvavetti tattvataha. Sahasreshu manushyanam, not thousands of thousands and thousands of human beings, one rare human being tries to gain the spiritual wisdom. Kaschid, sahasreshu kaschid, siddhaye, for the sake of the spiritual attainment, yatati. In modern Sanskrit, Paninian Sanskrit, it should have been yatate. This is so in the entire Bhagavad Gita. Yatati comes at a couple of places, and yatantaha comes in some places. They are all parasmaipadi forms. Yatamanaha is the correct form. So this, though Bhagavad Gita is not part of Vedas, it is considered similar to Vedic license. In the Vedas, some words, some lines, some sentences, some phrases are not in accordance with Paninian Sanskrit. But we don't change it. If people start changing Veda mantras, then there will be a disaster. So where finally you don't know what Vedas originally said. I was giving some lectures on Hinduism some years ago to a bunch of people, which the group included some people who were the so-called lower caste. There were 3 or 4, not just women concerned with women issues. They were very agitated over how women were, not equally treated in Hinduism. No religion treats women equally around the world, but Hinduism is generally attacked. In all other religions also, go closer, you find there is some form of casteism, some form of gender bias, some form of exploitation of the poor by the rich, some form of exploitation by the weak by the strong, of the weak by the strong. You name it, It's a global phenomenon. But there are some camps which go on talking about Hinduism's issues. Anyway, that's another topic. So a lady requested me in that bunch when I gave the meaning that where the expression, you know, women, माम हि पार्थ व्यपाश्रित्य येऽपि स्युः पापयोनयः स्त्रियो वैश्यास्तथा शूद्राः. Ninth chapter, there is a mention of women, merchant class, and Shudras. So there, this lady especially was very agitated. She said, "Why is there Stri?" I quoted my master, Swami Chinmayananda. He said, he had said, these old works are not to be taken by literal meaning. Wherever the word Stri comes, take it as a personality type. Whether men or women, there are some people who have a certain personality type, indecisive, over emotional, or caught in some kind of fancy, and so on. Whether it is a man with a beard and mustache or a lady with her physical personality, nothing to do with the physical part, the psychological personality. So if you take it that way, then the word will be perfectly all right. But she said, no, 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 no. As long as that word striyaha is in the Gita, it causes great agitation to me. Don't say woman has this kind of inner personality type. Why should you connect woman with that personality type? Da, 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 da. Then I asked her, so are you saying that Bhagavad Geetā shloka should be changed? She said, yes, we will remove some shlokas. If you start doing that, not only Gita and Bible and Quran and Dhammapada and the Torah of Judaism, all of them, suppose people start removing this line, adding their own words, editing it as they want, they will all go completely distorted. Therefore, it's not possible. You can't play with ancient works, but you have all the liberty. Make it a policy where the word Shudra is used. Don't go by birth. It is a certain Shudra mindset. Same way Vaishya, a certain mindset. Kshatriya mindset. Brahmana mindset. Purusha mindset. Three mindset. Personality type. Right? So, if you say, I want to change the scripture, then that becomes a different ball game. You better not change. You write your own book and no. She wants to attend the Gita class. She wants to know Hindu scriptures. But then she is herself so agitated. So we find that human minds are many times caught up with some issue. Energies are wasted. Don't waste your energies. You understand rightly. Share that right understanding with others. Don't pick on words and make it a big issue. So that will be true spiritual education. Siddhaye. So it all came because yatati. Yatati in modern Sanskrit has to be yatate. And don't change Bhagavad Gita, please. Keep it yatati, but make a note. This is a Chandasa or Arsha Prayoga, Rishi's usage. The very second line has yatatam api. In modern Sanskrit, it should have been yatamananam api. Because Atmanipadi roots do not become patan patantav patantaha. That is Parasmaipadi. Atmanipadi verbal roots have for their present participle ana or mana coming. Yatamanaha single. Yatamanau yatamanaha. Yatamananam api siddhanam. Now we'll see in the Shankara Bhāshya an explanation for Siddha. But for now, Siddha means highly accomplished people. Not enlightened, but they have come to a high level. and they are complementarily called accomplished. They are not fully accomplished, they are not enlightened, but complementarily. So, among even those who have gained a high degree of Vivek and Vairagya, among thousands of them, finally, one in thousands actually knows me, says Sri Krishna. So, this shows that our inner enemies, our inner obstacles, among the problems you and I have, there are two parts. One is it's extremely hard for us to let go of some habits. Second is it is not hard. We can actually let go of some habits. So the wisdom, practical wisdom lies in beginning with the second group. Suppose somebody is told, be silent. That may be extremely difficult for him. But suppose he is told, all right, you speak, but speak a bit less and give others chance to speak. You speak and then for some time you listen. Then again you speak. Let it be two ways. And that is possible. Nobody is asking this man to keep his mouth shut. To speak, but then in between is go to listening mode. So to say don't speak at all it may be very hard. It may lead to too much suppression. But to speak and listen both alternately is doable. Think about that. Somebody who is attached to coffee, to say don't drink coffee at all. But to say have only 2 cups in a day, not more, no third cup. Like that, in sleep, in pursuit of any pleasure, in everything, in things that need to be done, and in things that need to be avoided, do's and don'ts. Everywhere there are two categories. At a given point of time in our life, the first category is practically impossible. For example, some people do not take coffee or tea, they get headache. They get terrible headache. They fast, Ekadashi or something, they get headache, unbearable headache. For them, we may say, all right, at this time, this is your issue. Down the road, you may be able to fast. Down the road, you may be able to completely give up coffee and tea. But at this time, since you get headache, help yourself to 2 cups at such and such time. So, we need to remove the obstacles. Shankaracharya says, Manushyanam madhye sahasreshu, out of thousands, means anekeshu. Sahasra doesn't have to be taken literally. It means amidst a large number of spiritual seekers, kaschid yatati. Yatati is the word from the shloka. Acharya Shankara leaves it as it is, does not make it yatate. Prayatnam karoti, siddhaye, siddhyartam, simple. Tesham yatatam api siddhanam. Again, the words from the shloka, yatatam siddhanam, of those who try. Now, are they siddha? The word siddha is generally reserved for those who have reached the highest state. Shankara says, yes, generally siddha means one who is already awakened, but in this shloka it doesn't mean an awakened one. Siddha evahite ye mokshaya yatante. Those who strive for liberation sincerely, and in order to sincerely strive for liberation, you should have a high degree of Vivek and Vairagya. If we don't have enough Vivek and Vairagya, we just cannot be regular in our sadhana. If somebody complains, I'm not able to meditate daily, I'm not able to do yoga daily, I'm not able to do japa daily, I'm not able to touch scriptures. Once in a blue moon, I open Geetā or Upanishad. The apparent reason is so many responsibilities, guests coming to one's home, or one having to travel places. These are all superficial. with some truth in it. The real reason is you don't have enough viveka. You don't have enough vairagya. Suppose you don't have enough viveka or vairagya, even when some half an hour, 1 hour is served on a platter to you, you won't be able to exercise viveka and say, here I have some time, let me do meditation. Because you don't have viveka, something on the table attracts you. The fresh new, what is that? New magazine, Star and Style. I don't know whether that magazine is still there. Some of my examples are from 70s. Because after that, I have not seen that magazine. Some filmy magazine is on the table. Your viveka, because it's so poor, goes to winds. You say, let me just read. There is something very interesting about this new star in Bollywood, about her personal life. A part of your mind says, don't waste your time getting to know about the cinema star of Bollywood. Why are you worried about her? Is she your daughter or niece? Why are you worried? Then lack of vairagya. If you had vairagya, immediately you put the magazine down. Star and Style, leave it. I will study some Geetā now, or I will meditate. But no vairagya. You have raga. No, but this is very interesting. This very, very handsome actor in Bollywood, whom he is marrying, why are you worried? Is he your nephew? Is he your son? But no, raga. Because we have raga, we have vishayasakti, we have curiosity, and it doesn't remain as curiosity. It becomes such a strong urge. I must know now whom this Bollywood actor or Hollywood actor is going to marry. There is a rumor that he is already found with this girl or that young woman. Why, what is happening? Raga. That is absence of vairagya. If you have vairagya, you will not even take a second look at that filmy magazine. You will say, my God, I'm happy I got some half an hour free. Let me just do self-inquiry. So Viveka and Vairagya are the bedrock, the very foundation of regularity in sadhana. Those who don't have Viveka and Vairagya, however much Sanskrit they may know, however much books they may have written, however much lectures they may have given, however intellectual and bright and brilliant and this and that they may be, if they have no Viveka and Vairagya, their personal sadhana will be hardly anything. They waste time in all sorts of other things. But the Siddhas here are not that type. Those who have high Viveka and Vairagya. But even when you have very high Viveka and Vairagya, you may be caught up in some identification, in some subtle identification. You are regular in your sadhana, you also are avoiding worldly activities. But sitting in your cave with the Bhagavad Geetā in your hand, and in between you close the book and try to meditate. Yet, a certain notion, maybe a sannyasi in the Himalayas is quote and unquote very regular, but there is something holding him. He continues to think, am I not a very good sannyasi? Am I not very advanced? And his own mind says, you are, of course. But why was such a comment made other day by that other sannyasi in a meeting? A part of his mind says, why are you worried about comment by that Swami? You are good, now stop thinking and think of the pure self. See, this Swami may not be, this sannyasi in a Himalayan ashram may not be thinking about money or woman or some trophy, etc. But a comment made by another sannyasi in a get-together, sadhu samagama, has disturbed him. So he is unable to meditate. So in many ways, He has come a long way. He has come a very long way, but then something simple, something, some one identification. I am an advanced sannyasi. That's also an identification. Vedanta says you are not sannyasi, you are not grahastha, you are not man, you are not woman, you are the pure self. Am I advanced? You are neither advanced nor unadvanced. You are the pure self. The pure self doesn't advance. The pure self doesn't decay. The pure self doesn't lag behind. The pure self does not speed up. You are the pure self about which none of these judgments, none of these stamps of approval or rejection can apply. Why under the sun are you thinking about those? Why are you hung up with some doubt about your qualification as a spiritual aspirant? No, this sannyasi is a little bit stuck on a certain higher level. Such people are called Siddha by God, Siddhanamapi. They are sadhakas only. Here, Yatatamaapi Siddhanam actually means Yatamananamapi Sadhakanam, advanced sadhakas. And Sri Krishna from above looks at them and seeing the long distance they have traveled on the spiritual journey, Sri Krishna has great love and compassion for them. Therefore, complimentarily, he calls them Siddha. This sadhu is almost there, but slight disturbances are blocking him or her from enlightenment. I love him. He is as good as a Siddha. Just to watch out. One morning, it will come with a flash. It will come with such force, tremendous strength that an insight will dawn upon him. Why should I worry about who says anything about me? I did not come to Himalayas. I did not wear orange robes, walked away from Madhya Pradesh, my village in Madhya Pradesh, and come to Himalayas last 25 years. I am here. Did I come to get approval and praise from other sadhus? Did I know them at all? I came to know them later. All these words are not necessary. Without any words, the insight dawns upon that sadhu that I just need to look at myself as the pure self. I don't have to solve or resolve other issues. They will just die on their own. Atmanishto bhavatvam is a message. Be anchored in the pure self. But why are they talking like that about me? You stay as the pure self, and the thoughts about who is saying what about you will go on their own. And that is the healthiest way of getting a pure mind. Mind will get purified if you just step aside from the mind. Like in the story of the Buddha and his disciple, there's a very popular story. This disciple asks Buddha, how do I make my mind calm? The Buddha says, I will tell you that, but just first get some, there was a vessel. Fill this vessel with water from the nearby lake. His disciple goes there. Just then a bullock cart or something had passed by that lake through the water. That lake was not too deep, so the water was disturbed. The disciple comes back and says to the Buddha, oh, revered sir, the water is so disturbed, all dust has risen. The Buddha says, do one thing, go again and sit there for some time. The disciple goes and sits for about 20 minutes. By then, all the dust collects at the bottom. And the disciple says, oh, this is now very clean, pure water. I didn't realize so fast the dust would settle. Wow. He collects and brings. And then after Buddha drinks it, this disciple asks, you didn't answer my question. How do I make my mind calm? The Buddha said, oh, you need a separate answer. You saw it with your eyes. Give some time. Stand apart. Don't do anything. Just you sat quietly by the side of the lake The dust settled, water was pure now, worthy to be drunk. Likewise, Buddhu, in Hindi they say a dull-witted person is called Buddhu. Buddhu, the great way to purify your mind is no matter what problems you have, spend some time, sit quietly. Bhakti Marga, just think of God. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Lovingly. See, wonder of wonders happens, your mind becomes calm. Or in the Jnana Marga's language, say to yourself, I trust the Upanishads. I am the pure self. I am Sat Chit. I neither advance nor lag behind. All those descriptions, positive and negative, do not apply to me. Om, Om Tat Sat, and just say Soham, Soham, Soham. Regular study, regularly attending some classes like this will give you enough of material, understanding, appreciation, enough of excitement about these statements, not mad excitement, but excitement born of understanding. Then this Soham will operate on you. Atmanishto Bhavatvam. Therefore, those who are striving on a pretty high level are praised as Siddha, though they are not literally Siddha. Like final year MBBS students, already called these young doctors. Somebody may say, they are not doctors yet, one more year to go. No, no, no. I compliment them. They have been doing well. They have passed all exams and one more exam, and this bunch I know very well. The professor says, I call them doctors. So like that, there are many examples where a step before, not first year or in not somebody who has applied for a medical college, you don't call him a doctor. So, advanced one. Kaschin mam veti tattvataha. Tattvataha means yathavat, Adi Shankara says. Everybody has some idea of God. Everybody has, in fact, many people are very devoted also. And they have a lot to say about God. Those who have read Bhagavatam and so on may have tons to say about Sri Krishna, right? But Tattvataha is the highest level. Knowing God as the only truth. Knowing God as the truth of the outside world, truth of oneself too. Knowing God in such a way that there is nothing other than God. God is playing as Hindus. God is playing in the form of Muslims. God is playing in the form of Jewish people. God is this side of the war. God alone is that side of the war. God alone is expressing as this world, which seems to be full of imperfections, but it is God appearing in this form. That is Tattvataha. Therefore, words fail to describe God. Thus, though a simple verse, the verse 3 of chapter 7 is very, very thought-provoking. We must study Gita not only during the class, but here and there. And I'm fond of saying, just for 5 minutes also enough. Read a shloka, close it and think about it. 5 minutes. Then go do whatever you want to do. But give 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there for a dip in the purifying waters of the lake of Bhagavad Gita. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hari Om. Hari.